Are you ready, kids?
Aye, aye, Captain!
When I see people who struggle, I can help them.
There's always going to be people telling you that you can't do this or you can't do that.
I have to make sure that I practice self-care.
You get to that beautiful destination in a good place.
You know, and a lot of the times I say they're life skills.
I'm just overall super happy that we're doing this.
And we are back. Welcome back, ladies, gentlemen, and other distinguished members of the audience. You're listening to VibeZ, a radio show produced entirely by Spartan Sound Productions, Central Union High's very own production studio. I'm your host, Daniel Montoya, and this week's episode of VibeZ is dedicated to Mental Health Awareness Month. That's right, for those of you not in the know, Mental Health Awareness Month was actually established way back in May of 1949. So it's been around a very long time. It's not just something we're doing because it would be nice. You know, it's not a meaningless platitude. It's got a storied history, and we think that it has a very important place nowadays because 18.2% of Americans suffer from depression, schizophrenia, or bipolar disorder. So this one goes out to them. In addition, here at Central, 2024's Mental Health Awareness Month theme is Where to Start, and we think VibeZ is a fantastic starting point. For the occasion, we've assembled a small panel of ICOE counselors as well as students from here at Central who are receiving mental health services to talk about mental health here at Central. In addition, we've also got an interview with SEL coordinator Ms. Rodriguez, who is going to be talking about mental health awareness in school and what can be done to improve it. As well as this, we've decided to give a small section to Mr. Robert Fuller, an English teacher here at Central who is retiring after 30 years. We wish him the best, and we hope that his words will inspire you. So, without any further ado, let's get right into it with our very first segment. Miss Rodriguez, take it away.
All right, so I'm Ms. Rodriguez, and in addition to being a full-time teacher here at Central, I'm also the SEL coordinator. One of the things that we do is we work as a team. And so I think my role in leadership is mainly making sure that the whole team has the resources that we need to better serve the social emotional learning needs of our students and our staff as well.
All right, sorry for the mistake there. We wanted to bring you in here to talk about SEL's role in promoting mental health here at school.
Okay.
In Mental Health Awareness Month, and perhaps your thoughts on Mental Health Awareness Month.
Okay. So SEL, the SEL team, which is comprised of, actually we have a lot of different people involved, but specifically during advisory, it's Mrs. Galindo and Mrs. Robin Avila. There are two Avilas, so that's why I pointed that out. And what we do is we work on the slides that you see during advisory that usually have a reflective quote, maybe some tips. And so that is one aspect, right? And it's to have students connect with the quote. Some of our advisory classes are journaling. And so there are prompts for journaling for them to do under their advisory teachers' coordination. So we provide resources, we provide speakers, and then we also have Mrs. Pinedo's class, which is, they're the SEL ambassadors here on campus. They work with Closet X, and Closet X is a service that we have here on campus under the leadership and vision of Mrs. Rodriguez. And it's like this beautiful classroom. I don't know if you've been, but in the trailer that has clothes, school supplies, backpacks, because, you know, oftentimes there are needs that we have, clothing, supplies, that may hamper our mental health because we may not feel like we belong if we don't have that thing that we need to take to be a part of, right? Or clothes, maybe we're having financial issues that is causing an extra stress in our lives. And but we do need new clothes for a specific event. So we have all of that there. We want to, the most important thing is that our students know that we honor their dignity, and it's a service that we have so that they can, that is open to everybody on campus.
Yeah, and there's certainly something to be said about the stigma behind receiving those services. So I would say, it's a very noble ambition, and we thank you for it.
Thank you. Yes, and that's why it's open to everybody, right? So that nobody feels like, oh, I'm the only one that's getting this. It's anybody can go, and oh, I forgot my backpack tour. Well, you know what? I'm not going to burden my parents with the expense of another backpack because I have prom coming up, so I'm going to go to Closet X, and it takes off some of that stress.
Very good, very good. So, aside from, perhaps promoting services that, maybe destigmatize mental health, is there anything else that SEL offers?
Yes, so we have activities, and oftentimes the three teachers and I, we go and work with students. We work on activities with them. We also coordinate with, I believe, some of the people that you've interviewed from behavioral health or ICOE, right? Some of the counselors. We have the calming room that is also under our auspices.
The Well, correct?
The Well, yes, and that, that is available to students to take a break and practice some self-care, right? Which are some of the tips that we have in those advisory slides. We also have videos for one, to learn about mental health issues, but also to learn about ourselves and maybe how we connect to people can help us become healthier and be surrounded by people who care about us. Or if we're having an issue with a relationship, how we can mend it and minimize the damage, right? Because if it's something that's bothering us, then we need to deal with it so it doesn't create anxiety that later ends up harming us.
I see. So what are your thoughts about Mental Health Awareness Month?
I think it's fantastic, and I think mental health awareness is actually a year-round endeavor. And I'm glad that a whole month is dedicated to it. However, I know people in 2024 who still have that stigma, right? That we talk about breaking the stigma of somebody who's receiving services for psychiatric issues, or using terms like, oh my God, you're so OCD, when somebody's very organized. Like, no, that is a mental health issue that needs to be addressed. And so if I'm sitting in a room and I have OCD and somebody uses that expression, I'm going to feel very bad. And so we need to make other people aware of how we speak sometimes. Like, oh, dude, that's crazy, right? Like, what's another way that we can say that? Or the weather is so bipolar, right? People who have bipolar conditions, it's beyond their control, right? And so awareness on how we speak, having the awareness of if something is happening with us, for us to seek professional help, not to self-diagnose or, start going through this rabbit hole on YouTube, trying to figure out what I've got and then making things worse. And then what are things that I can do if I have a certain condition or a certain issue and not exacerbate it, right? So like, for example, all my life I've suffered from ADHD, right? And I use the expression suffered loosely. It's been something that I've lived with. And so if I get distracted and start looking at cat videos for 5 hours,
right,
and I don't do what I need to do, my anxiety level is going to go way up, right? So I have to make sure that I practice self-care and that I prioritize the things that I need to do before I start watching the cat videos, right? And so like I have to be that adult voice in my head, and that's what I hope that our students will be able to do as well, right? Become self-monitor, and delay gratification.
Right, to sort of increase their ability to practice, what's the word, executive functioning?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes, yeah, and strengthen the prefrontal cortex so that we make better decisions for the long term as opposed to just the immediate.
The immediate.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
All right, moving on from the present
Uh-huh.
and looking towards the future, do you think there's anything that could be done to perhaps improve mental health services in schools, maybe outside of schools?
Absolutely, and I know that, the state of California, there is a huge investment into community schools, right? And that is not like our community school, but it's actually having wraparound services at comprehensive high schools like ours. There's funding for that so that students can come in and maybe talk to a therapist or a psychiatrist after school hours. The referrals are there. Families can come in and have access to social services as well. So that's definitely a priority, and I think the direction that we're going in here at Central, for sure.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much for your time, Ms. Rodriguez.
Absolutely. I hope that was helpful.
Moving on from Ms. Rodriguez, who we thank for her time, we are handing the mics over to our panel of ICOE counselors and students from here at Central. So, take it away, people.
Hi, my name is Sarah Platero, and I'm a school counselor at Central Union High School.
I'm Aaliyah Nelson, and I'm a student, a junior here at Central.
Hi, I'm Jaden De Santiago. I am a senior here at Central Union High School.
I'm Carolina Gonzalez. I'm a school-based mental health specialist with ICOE placed here at Central Union High School.
Hi, I'm Stephanie Valenzuela, and I'm the mental health specialist with ICOE along with Carolina.
Camila Patton, and I'm also a counselor here at Central. We're here to talk about Mental Health Awareness Month and the different things that we're doing here at Central, how we're all collaborating, and just to, have a conversation about this lovely month that we have going on, full of fun and activities and different things that we're doing here at Central.
So I'm kind of shocked that we had Mental Health Awareness Month for 75 years, and it hasn't been not necessarily addressed, but it's been along for so long. And it's still kind of somewhat fresh and new and like more accepted. Like that stigma was pretty strong for so long, but now like it's totally fine, especially on campus. Do you guys feel like it's there's enough services for our students and stuff like that?
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of options for any like mental problem you're having. Like if you're having a rough day and you just want to like space out, you can go and see the counselor of the day, which is basically like your own room with, if you want to talk to someone, if not, you can just focus on not breaking down and just breathing and stuff. And there's a lot of options out there. You can also see a counselor if you're like about to cry, or if you have like bad thoughts and you don't want to be here, or you don't want to be at school. You don't necessarily have to go home in order to avoid everything. You can also just be okay here with the help that you get. And there's a lot of like options for sure that I'd say.
I also agree with this. If you also are just having a bad day and you want to go home and you just don't know what to do, there's resources here at Central, and it has helped me personally a lot. And I know there's other people out there that sometimes they're too afraid, but they're really comforting. And if you don't have a counselor, there's counselor of the day. Like they have a lot of resources that can help you. And I've over the years have gotten help, and it has helped me a lot. And I've grown from it and all the benefits they have given me. I just really am grateful for all of this.
And I'll just like to kind of briefly talk about Counselor of the Day and what it is for those who may not know. Counselor of the Day is there's a counselor, a school-based counselor here at Central, and each day, Monday through Friday, there's a selected counselor that is open to speak with students who may need someone to talk to, have some emotional support, and they're there available all day at any time for them to come in and just talk if they need, that help or that assistance. I believe it's been adopted for the second year now here at Central. So that's been a really good response for the students to have that support. And if they feel like they don't have someone to talk to, they know each day there's someone that they could go and, get some help with. So I think that's a really good option and service that we do offer here at Central.
And all of our counseling team is amazing. Our students that get support are always giving really positive feedback about having good experiences and getting their needs met. If you do see the counselor of the day and you have a higher level of need, if there's more significant mental health issues going on that exceed just having a bad day, then they will refer you to us, the mental health specialist. And we provide individual therapy and group therapy. We're here with Imperial County Office of Education through the Mental Health Student Services Act. There's 16 of us at each high school campus. And our goal is really to improve access so that students can be seen here at school, get the same services that you would get at a clinic, but here at school, and hopefully help you feel happy and healthy again.
Yeah, and I just want to add, I know Ms. Platero discussed the stigma. That is one of our goals here as a mental health specialist. We do want to minimize the stigma within not just the students, but also the staff with activities, trainings, presentations. At Central, one of our goals for next school year, is to focus more on those tier 1 activities and also the individual and group therapy, which would be more of a tier 3 and tier 2.
And I think that's even in addition to that, that's where we adopted having the groups here at Central. So where it's a central counselor along with the ICOE counselors, and we provide the groups twice, not twice, but every day there's pretty much a group going during advisory and 15 minutes into third period, so that students can get that additional help so that they learn from their peers. They learn different coping skills, so they can have individual, they can have group. And I think that's something that's very positive and has worked very well here at Central.
I want to talk about a little about the stigma that they mentioned, because around campus, a lot of people are afraid to admit that they have a therapist, or that they see people, or they receive like help and needs, or even medication, or just like any type of like advice from anyone. There's really no shame in working on yourself. Me personally, I've been working with the counselor and the mental health specialist since my sophomore year, and I'm already a senior. And I want to say that I am for sure in a better mental state and like academic state too. It's made me better and more motivated to keep myself in check and keep trying and just show up every day. Because what I've realized is like getting help really changes your perspective in life. Because whenever you're just so like broken and sad and you're afraid to get help because of other people's judging you and all the stigma, you're just afraid of being your best self for like judges that don't even matter. They don't even know you. So it doesn't really matter. I don't know. And it took me a while to realize that, but I wasn't really afraid. I was just afraid of getting help because I was honestly afraid to like look down on. But what I realized is it made me better than those who don't receive help, or no, not receive help, but like put down people for receiving help. But it makes me stronger because when I see people who struggle, I can help them. I know what to do because throughout the years, I've got like a lot of coping skills and tips that I still use to this day. For example, I use a rubber band to like focus all those bad thoughts and like physical instead of actually harming myself, and I still use it till this day, and it really helps you to just like change your mind to that. And I've given those tips to other people, like my friends or peers I see that struggle, and I do tell them like, there's services at school like therapists or counselor of the day that I personally still go to, and it's really something I say that more people should be open to, because there's no stigma out there if you're just better yourself,
That's beautiful.
I'm already getting emotional. No. But yeah, I want to add on to that. There's a lot of kids out there that don't know and they're too embarrassed to get help. And honestly, when I see someone struggling, it's like my need to, like I need to help them. I just love how Central is so open and how much resources they have. You can have group, you can go have personal therapy, have counselor of the day. It's okay to cry. A lot of students are embarrassed or ashamed, and it's really great how we're doing this, and this is very powerful, and it can maybe persuade students to understand that it is okay to cry and it is okay to have emotions and get help. You shouldn't be ashamed. And I personally am going to therapy at behavioral health. I have a case manager, and over the years I have been shown a lot of tips on what to do in a situation where I'm crying or if I don't know what to do. I've journaled. It's just a lot of help that I have gotten from Central, and honestly, I don't know if I would even be here if I didn't have one of my counselors, Miss Stephanie, my therapist that I see. She has helped me a lot over the years, and I'm just super grateful that I'm still here, and I don't know, it's just, I'm super, super grateful for everything.
I just want to say thank you to both of you for opening up and for those beautiful words to the counseling department and to us, the specialists, even though I know I'm fairly new, but yeah, it was really nice. And I think you guys, plus other students, are examples that at least our program from ICOE, it is needed here at Central and at other schools too. I do agree that this school, specifically Central, you guys have a lot of support. We do talk to the other therapists at other schools, and they're also doing this plus more as well. But here at Central, you guys have a lot of resources. I think Central might be the only one with Closet X, right? Mm-hmm. That's something that no other school in the county has. So I think I do agree with you guys that here the school is really good about providing, or at least connecting you guys too. Mm-hmm. There's times where me and Stephanie cannot provide the mental health service because the need is higher, the level of care is higher, but at least we're able to connect the student with outside agencies. Whereas if we weren't here, that may fall under the crack a little bit, because I know the counselors are also that's part of your duties to connect. Yes. But us that were specialists, we have more we know more about like the community resources and which resource would be appropriate for the student.
Yeah, I definitely want to add on to that. If you don't think they have the help you need, or you feel like no one can help you in any way, they will always be there, and they will help you find someone or something to help you with that specific problem. Like, you don't have to give up in any situation. For me, I was in a really like dark spot where I had no motivation, and I didn't go to school, and I was self-harming. And honestly, like, when I thought I couldn't help, like I couldn't get help, but then I started seeing Stephanie, and that really just showed me to more options and more resources that I got in order to just become better. For example, there's a lot of, like, even if you want medication, there's medication, but you don't always have to rely on medication. There's also other coping skills that you can do on your, like, by yourself in your room, like counting, breathing, seeing what's around you, the things you can smell, see, hear, like a lot of things that help you, and you will get help if you just ask. As long as you're willing to get help, you will receive the help in any problem.
And I just want to say how proud I am of both of you and all of our students that are brave enough to reach out and get that help. And you two are advocates, and just speaking out on your experiences and what you have learned is helping, other students. And I've seen both of you tell me about students that need support, give me names, encourage me to check in with your classmates, and you're both very empathetic and kind and beautiful people. And I'm so appreciative of you guys sharing these experiences you had because you're helping. right? And you're doing exactly what we want to do, which is you're helping improve access and you're changing those stigmas, right? You're speaking from your experiences, and that is helping. So thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hey, it's Daniel Montoya. I'm just butting in for a quick second. For those of you just tuning in, you've been listening to our panel of Central students and counselors discussing Mental Health Awareness Month here at Central Union High School. We'll continue right now.
I'm just super grateful for all this experience, and if you are out there and if you're lost and you feel like nobody will understand you, they will. Central has helped several people, and I'm glad that we're doing this podcast because I do love helping people. I hate seeing people in the pain that I was, and I just would love to help them get out. So I'm just overall super happy that we're doing this and sharing our stories, hoping it can encourage a lot of students to let them know that they are not alone. We will understand them. Central will get you guys help.
And then as a counselor and stuff like that, it brings me back to like my why, you know, why I went into grad school, why I did all those hours of internship, you know, and just to ultimately to help students, you know, that's for sure my why. I know it's like the busyness of the academic school year that can get pretty crazy, right? Because you guys see us all over the place, whether it's academic, college, and career. But honestly, my why was more the social emotional, for sure. And so, yeah, it's just, yeah, it definitely brings me back to my why.
I wanna say that getting help really is not only just helping you, but also others. Because throughout the years of getting help, I've learned what to do to help others. So if I see my friends or peers, whenever they're like crying or having a panic attack, I know what I can do in that moment to make them feel better, enough for them to think clearly and just realize that it's just in the moment. It's not all bad. And just if they need help or just needed someone to just hear them and advise, I am able to give that because of all the services I've gotten throughout the years in Central and with all the mental health specialists that I'm really, really grateful for. Because without them, I wouldn't be here, and maybe potentially some of my friends wouldn't be here. And I am able to share all the coping skills that I've gotten, and I am really, really grateful for all of that because I am able to graduate and walk with good attendance and good grades and with a good GPA because of all the help I've gotten. And honestly, I wouldn't have been in this school. I would have been in like DO or community or even Phoenix Rising because of how bad my attendance was in my grades. But I got help and I am better, and they fought for me, so I'm gonna fight for myself too.
And that's great. That is so awesome. I love that.
That's beautiful, Jaden.
Yes, that's awesome. And even going back to the why, you know, that's one thing that we all got into our professions is to help people, help students. And I think that's very important because a lot of the times, even myself getting into the mental health and even as a school counselor, it's to help students because if we, you know, go back and look at it, you know, that wasn't easily accessible to us when we were back in school. And, you know, we had the hustle and bustle, the same thing as the students do now, but it was different. We couldn't go and say like, hey, we're having a breakdown because it would be like, suck it up, you know, get it together. And so things are different. And I'm glad that it's being brought to the forefront and saying like, hey, students need help. They need that, you know, those coping skills. And you know, and a lot of the times I say they're life skills because these are going to be skills that you can use as an adult. Life is forever changing. We're always evolving as individuals. And those coping skills that you guys have now, you guys are going to use them later in life. And like you guys have saying, you are sharing those skills. So people who may need that, you're passing on that knowledge. And that's amazing.
Yes, I agree with you, Ms. Patton. Also, like Jaden, for example, and Aaliyah, who have picked up these coping skills and hopefully they use them. They teach them to the younger generations, and we're breaking cycles that may be generational cycles that maybe in their older generations within their family, they didn't really know because of the stigma. And like you mentioned, when we were in high school, I knew I had anxiety, but I didn't know that it was anxiety. Had we had these services at school, I probably would have known what it was earlier on in life instead of waiting till I was an adult. So it's a great benefit to have the specialists and the counseling, especially counselor of the day, and that you guys focus also on the social emotional component of an individual.
Yeah, it really is a benefit to have that because of these services, I am excited and I look forward for my next meeting in order to feel better, because I know that the more I do it, the more I practice it, the more it will be more implemented in my life, which will potentially help me. And I am grateful for the services, but I am hoping to grow enough where I don't need the services. And I am lucky enough to say that I am close to that, and I'm really, really grateful to be on my own without these services. But I wouldn't be on my own without them. So thank you very much.
And I feel that's, even add to that, as being, and I'm pretty sure as counselors and therapists that you guys are, you have that excitement. It's kind of like that happy feeling. It's bittersweet, right? It's like, we love to see you go, but we know that you're going on to bigger and better things because you don't need us anymore. So it's very rewarding for us to say, you know what, we were able to help. You needed me, and I served a purpose in your life, and now you're at the point and you've grown that you don't need me anymore. So it's very bittersweet, but like I said, it's very rewarding. And that's what, we're all here to help students and help you guys grow. And that's a lot of the reason why we want to provide that mental health and break those barriers for everyone and say, you know what, this service is here and we're here to help. Just use us.
One good thing I also want to add about the service is they're very persistent. If you need help, they will give you the help. For example, if you make a meeting, they will try their best for you to make that meeting. But they're obviously not going to force you. But they will encourage you and try their best possible for you to go in there and go in the meeting. And they always keep your priorities in check and just help you be better. And they want you to be better. So that's why they always want to help you, I guess. I don't know.
We will find you.
Yes.
No, we definitely respect your space and your boundaries, but we also know the importance of consistency. And we always try to be flexible with the students. So if any students are listening, we will accommodate to your schedule and try to work with you. Because at the end of the day, what I always tell my students is that you're driving this, right? You're the driver, I'm the passenger as your therapist or as your counselor. We're along for the ride. We want to help you, we want to be there for you, but you're driving this because this is your life. And so ultimately, you're the one that makes the decisions, but we're there to kind of help you along so that you get to that beautiful destination in a good place, in a healthy place. And that's our ultimate goal. So seeing both of our students here talking about their positive experiences and hearing how well they're doing, that means everything to us, right? Because that means we were good co-pilots.
Very good.
Passenger princesses.
And I think stories like these students, plus other ones too, you guys are our motivation to keep going. And we love our job, right? But when we see progress and we see improvement and how you guys evolve, especially like Stephanie has seen you for all these years. I think you too, Aaliyah. I don't know, it just warms our heart. And we want to help. We want to continue helping the students here at Central.
Yeah, I just want to add that because of this is the reason what I know what I want to do with my life. I now would enjoy to help children. I don't know what I'm going to do. Maybe a therapist. I really don't know. But I'm looking into psychology, and I just think it's pretty amazing and cool how the world's evolving and how now with this generation we're becoming more understanding of all the children, and even as an adult you might need services as well, and it's okay. And it's just amazing. It makes me smile. It makes me really, really happy.
Yeah, and I think that all of us that go into this field have a story, right? I think that most of us have a reason why this attracted us. I think many of us have had struggles in our past through, because of family or, personal mental health challenges or multi-generational challenges. And so that's something else for students to know, that usually when you're meeting with someone, they have a story too. They have trauma too. And we can connect with that shared experience and make it so that that doesn't define us, right? That's not our future, right? We can change it. And we can have that as part of our story, but that's not all we are, right? And so I think it's important to also think about that and hold on to that, but use it as our inspiration, right? Not as something that stops us.
Hello, I'm Dr. Tom Tackey, creator and executive producer of VibeZ. VibeZ is your show that's all about Imperial Valley culture and happenings with a focus on our youth. There is hardly anyone that impacts that more than our teachers. Students will always remember what teachers did for them way more than any teaching program du jour. That connection and empathy is what matters. We at VibeZ want to recognize the dedication that our teachers have provided, specifically those that are retiring this year. The next segment of this show features one or more of these retirees. This recognition will be spread out amongst our shows through June. Enjoy.
And to close out the episode, we are handing the mic over to Mr. Robert Fuller, who has spent 30 years teaching and coaching, 26 of which were here at Central Union High School, to talk about his career as well as any advice he would like to leave us with. So, take it away. I'm currently sitting here with Mr. Fuller, who has been an English teacher here for how many years?
This is year 30, 26 at Central, and I did 4 over in San Diego.
A very long and I'm sure illustrious career. Mr. Fuller, if you could, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Well, hi, my name is Mr. Fuller. I'm an English teacher here at Central High School. This is year 30 for teaching, and I'm on my way out. So I'm happy to say a few words as I exit this stage of my life, and I'm moving on to the next phase.
What would you say was your main motivation for becoming a teacher?
I had worked in college as an aide, like a teacher's assistant, at a middle school in San Diego, and I found that I enjoyed working with kids. And I had also been coaching Little League baseball. And so I finally figured out, what job could I do where I could work with kids and coach and get paid to do that? And I thought, well, shoot, maybe I'll be a teacher. And that's what got me started.
Why English specifically?
In school, I always enjoyed English. I was always, better at English than other classes. I enjoyed reading and writing. In my own, as a student myself, I had a couple of English teachers along the way that had a big impact on me as well. So that's what kind of pushed me towards English. And I was bad at math. I made it through, but I was lousy at math all the way through. So I definitely wasn't going to go that route. But I always enjoyed English and reading and writing, and I was better at that than other subjects.
I see. And where did you start your career?
Well, I student taught in San Diego at a middle school, Lewis Junior High School, and I came down here to Central. I thought I was going to come down to Central for 1 year. That was my plan. I ended up staying at Central for 5 years, the first 5 years of my career, and then I went back to El Camino High School in Oceanside. I was there for 4 years, and a lot of things happened, but I got married, I had kids, my wife is from Calexico, and we decided to move back to the Valley. And I always liked working at Central, and I was hoping I could get a job here. So we came back after that, and I've been at Central ever since.
So over the years, what would you say have been the highlights of your career?
Oh, well, I've had a bunch, I guess. I always enjoyed coaching, like before I had kids of my own, and I was, young and energetic and a little bit more physically fit. I enjoyed coaching, so I coached freshman and JV baseball here at Central. I coached freshman volleyball for a couple of years when the coach that they were going to have quit at the last minute and they needed somebody to fill in, so I took that over, and that was a lot of fun. I did the Shield newspaper for a few years, so that was always fun. That was a lot of work, but it always was a big reward when the newspaper came out. So and I taught journalism. I was the lead teacher for the Legal Law Academy when that first started. So I was part of the first group of Legal Law Academy teachers here at Central. You know, the academy wouldn't exist if it wasn't for that group of teachers that got it started way back in the old days. So I guess those are some things that I'm proud of.
Well, besides all of the, coaching and extracurricular stuff, what about academics? What would you say has been the high point of, teaching English?
Well, I've taught mostly English 9 over my career, I feel, and kind of getting students to like Shakespeare, getting students to like Romeo and Juliet. That's not easy. That's not easy to do. And the language is hard. It's an old text. But the ideas in Romeo and Juliet are still relevant today about, young people falling in love and conflicts with their parents. And so I think, academically, getting kids to enjoy Romeo and Juliet, that's a big task. I'm proud of accomplishing that.
Well, I suppose with that being said, is there anything you would like to leave us with? Any advice, words of wisdom?
Advice would be, don't let anybody tell you that you can't reach your goal or your dream. You decide what you want to do and know that you have to work hard to accomplish that goal. But don't listen to the naysayers. There's always going to be people telling you that you can't do this or you can't do that or it's too hard or it's impossible or you'll never make it. And I tell my students in class that a lot of time I feel like people say that because, subconsciously they feel they would, if you're able to accomplish these things and they didn't, they'll feel bad about themselves. It might not even be a conscious thing that they know is happening, but people would tell you, oh, you can't do that, or why do you want to do that, or that's dumb. Because if you do it and they don't, then somehow in their mind, you're better than them. So, people will try to shoot you down in life and tell you that you can't do things. And I would say, don't listen to those people. Don't buy into that. Figure out what you want to do and go after it, and if you change your mind and you want to go a different path, that's okay. But do it because you want to do it, not because somebody tells you that you can't or that it's impossible.
So, what's next for you?
Well, it's funny. Everybody says, well, what's your plan? What are you going to do? It's almost annoying because I don't really have a plan. I have some ideas that I'd like to do. I talked to one person who said, I was telling them that people keep asking me about what's my plan? What am I going to do? And this person told me, well, you know what you're going to do? You're going to do what you've done every summer for the last 30 years. You've had 30 mini retirements already. So you're going to do, you find ways to occupy your time just like you always have. I like to exercise. I like to read. I like to hike a little bit. I like to travel. I have a brother that lives in San Diego that's retired. I have one of my best friends from high school. He lives in San Diego. He's retired. So, I see myself going over to visit with them and just enjoying life and knowing Sunday night I'm not going to be worrying about what am I going to do tomorrow morning in class.
All right, that is really good to hear. I wish you the best.
Thank you so much, and thanks to everybody at Central. It's been a great ride. Thank you again.
All right. Thank you for your time, Mr. Fuller.
yeah, no worries. That was fun.
And before we sign off for the week, we would like to remind our audience that we have an email account that you can contact if you want your school to have its very own episode of Valley Vibes. That is ValleyVibes with a Z at gmail.com. That is ValleyVibes with a Z at gmail.com. In addition, we'd also like to bring attention to our YouTube channel, Spartan Sound Productions, where you can find episodes of Valley Vibes uploaded about a day after broadcast, give or take, including this one. And now we here at Valley Vibes would like to leave the audience with a few words. Namely, that it's okay to ask for help, and that you are not alone. It's okay to say that you're not okay, and it's okay to get a few hands on deck to help you get through any hardships you're going through. You are not alone. It'll all get better. We promise. I've been Daniel Montoya. You've been listening to Valley Vibes, and we are signing off till Sunday, 9 a.m. next week. Thank y'all very much for your time.
This program was produced and brought to you by Spartan Sound Productions. Special thanks to our special guests, ICOE mental health specialists Stephanie Valenzuela and Carolina Gonzalez, Central Union High School counselors Sara Platero and Gamelia Paton, Central Union High School CEL coordinator Haiti Rodriguez, CUHS students Aaliyah Nelson and Jaden De Santiago, and retiring CUHS teacher Robert Fuller. We'd also like to recognize our production team, Daniel Montoya and Soren Dorantes, Dr. Thomas Tacky, creator and director of Spartan Sound Productions, the administration of Central Union High School and Central Union High School District, and Mr. Javier Fimbres and Power 98 for hosting us, and to you, the listeners.